Aloha and welcome back to Pineapple Tap Hawaii. Mahalo for joining us once again for a quick and easy recipe that we love. This week is Thanksgiving and it is coming closer and faster than ever. And if you're still looking for a good homemade recipe for stuffing, this is the perfect place. Now, this is always our go-to. It's super easy, and most of the time you have these ingredients on hand, so you don't have to keep running back and forth to the store like every other Thanksgiving, right? So, super simple onions and celery. Basically, there is no specific recipe for this, but it's all your preference, and we give you kind of the ballpark of what ingredients and measurements we use in our own stuffing. So for my household and family, I always make extra stuffing. So that is why I use one bunch of celery, 3 to 4 medium onions, 1 to 2 packs of thick cut bacon, and some big Portuguese sausage. Now, we love this recipe because the flavors marry so well together, especially because of that porky bacon and that sweet and savory Portuguese sausage. Now, it's super easy, easier than you actually may think. All you have to do is saute up those onions and celery, take that out of the pot, and go ahead and cook up that bacon and sausage. And then make sure you have some good toasty bread. So whenever making stuffing, you would like a good day old bread, or if you have some fresh bread, you always can toast that up. That is always good. And then you want to have a liquid. So I use eggs and evaporated milk. You can use chicken broth and eggs. You could use half and half. Whatever you have on hand, seriously, it's always going to taste great. So we use evaporated milk and eggs, and we actually ended up using 2 to 3 cans of evaporated milk for this recipe and about 5 to 6 eggs. So the eggs and milk moisten your bread and also make it kind of fluffy and just a good eggy texture. So it is so good. You have to try it out for yourself. And again, it's all about your preference. So if you don't have eggs, you don't need to use eggs. If you don't have milk, then use chicken broth. Always try and substitute what you have, and it saves you a trip to the store. So we're going to saute up our vegetables here. Then it's going to be our meats. And then we're going to combine our bread, our meats and veggies. And then we're going to season it with poultry seasoning. Now, I was never a real fan of poultry seasoning, but it really brings out the flavor in this stuffing. So it's always my go-to. Also, if you have fresh herbs like parsley, green onions, that always gives it a fresh, bright flavor. So I always add that in also at the end. So an important part to note is that your liquid that you use will depend on how dry your bread is. If you're using toasted crouton type of bread, or if you're using like a fresh bread, you want to make sure you're toasting it so the liquid absorbs into your stuffing mixture. Okay, so we have our bread toasted here, and then we have our milk and eggs mixture mixed up well. And then we're going to add in our secret ingredient, a simply grated apple. Now, this is going to give you some unexpected sweetness, and it's not going to be actually too sweet to notice it, but it will give you a great background flavor that just flavors your stuffing really well. So you want to have your bread in a pan or a bowl big enough so you can mix your vegetables and meat together in this pan and also your liquid. So don't be overwhelmed and think you have to mix all of your bread together because 2 loaves of bread is a lot. So what I did is I split it in two and then mixed it in each pan. And then I used one pan for my turkey and then one pan for my extras. Now when making your vegetables and meat, don't forget to not throw away that drippings because that is a big flavor boost there. So don't throw that away. And then you're going to start pouring over your liquid a little at a time. Now, when wetting your stuffing mixture, do it a little at a time and just gauge to see how wet or dry your stuffing is. Now, you're not looking for a soppy bread pudding texture, but you're not also looking for a dried stuffing texture. So you have to kind of gauge in between those two. When it gets to the perfect texture and consistency, it is time to either stuff your turkey or put your stuffing into a pan to bake. Now, it is totally up to you how you do it, but my favorite is always to stuff my turkey and then put the leftovers on the side for a little extra leftovers for the week because I rather be left with stuffing than turkey. That's just my preference. So when baking your dressing or stuffing on the side, what I usually do is add a little bit of herb butter just to get that tops nice and crispy. And all that is a stick of butter, a tablespoon of fresh or dried parsley, and some either fresh or granulated garlic. Now we pour that over the top and you can either foil it or you can just bake it simply like that to get that nice golden crust. And then if you're stuffing your turkey, we recommend you not stuffing it too much outside of the cavity because it will expand. And then it also will get that nice crispy crunchy outside, which we love and fight over. So if you have never made homemade stuffing, we highly recommend it. If you already have your own homemade stuffing recipe that you love and you want to use some tips and tricks from our video, go ahead and comment down below how you liked it if you tried it, or if you want to recommend some tips and tricks to us, go ahead and do that. We love when you folks comment down below and let us know how it went. We hope you folks enjoyed this recipe and have an amazing Thanksgiving, and we will see you on the next one. Aloha.